And then, of course, the Apple Cup is Friday, November 26th. All right, so getting into the position breakdown group and looking at the defensive line and outside linebackers. These two position groups are really two position groups that I feel could take a big leap coming from the 2020 season to 2021. Last season, the main guys at outside linebackers were, of course, ZTF, Ryan Bowman, and then Savelle Smalls. On the defensive line, those main guys were Sam Tamani, Josiah Bronson, and Tuli Latuli Gasanoa. Now coming back to the outside linebacker spot, really, they didn't lose anybody. All those guys are coming back, and they're even getting another guy in Latu, who coming into last season was projected as the starter. So that position group especially is going to be extremely deep next year. Looking at ZTF in it, he really came out of nowhere last year and splashed onto the scene, really showing how good he can be. He had 13 tackles, 7 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery in the 4-game season. Ryan Bowman was looked at as kind of a leader, a senior last year, coming back now for another year. He only played in 2 of the games. He missed the last 2 due to an unspecified reason. In those first 2 games, he had 6 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss, and 1 sack. So overall, just a decent stats. Nothing too exciting, but not bad. As for Savelle Smalls last year, he came in as a true freshman, 5-star recruit, and he probably got more playing time than he would have in a regular season. It would have been possible if they would have redshirted him had there been no injuries really, and this been an actual season, I guess you could say, with them already having ZTFs, Ryan Bowman, and then Latu. But with the injuries and it being a season that doesn't really count against eligibility, he played. I believe he got the starts when Ryan Bowman was out, and he finished the year just with 7 tackles. So nothing too exciting, but he clearly has potential as he was a 5-star coming out of high school. He has great size, great athleticism to play that outside linebacker spot. So hopefully the coaches can really tap into him this offseason and really help him develop more and make that big impact that you expect from a 5-star. Then looking at a guy who missed all of last year is Latu. And last year he originally came in as the starter in the depth chart ahead of ZTF, but he was injured, I suppose, for some unspecified injury, I believe. I don't think they ever really got into it. But just him being shown as the starter on the depth chart, it shows how much potential the coaches see in him and really feel that he can make that impact when he's not injured. So really the hardest thing for this Husky outside linebacking pass rushing group next year is going to be finding playing time, I think, and spreading the snap count around, because I feel all 4 of these guys deserve to be out there and should make a big impact. One thing they might choose to do is to really rely on ZTF as a sole pass rushing specialist, as that was really where he made his most impact. He didn't have a huge impact in the run game last year. So perhaps they really just sent him out on the field in pass rushing down so that he's well refreshed and just fresh the whole game. And they can also just rotate then those other 3 guys around in the running spots like 1st and 10, and short yardage down, 2nd and 2, 3rd and 2, those type of run downs. So really it'll be up to the coaching staff what they do, how they do the rotations. If they do it, they send 2 guys out there for a possession and then they swap the next possession, or whatever they choose to do. Hopefully they make the right choice. Now, as for the defensive line group, they lost Josiah Bronson, but hopefully Latuli Gasanoa can really be healthy all of next year and really progress nicely alongside his fellow 3rd-year junior Sam Tamani, as those 2 are really going to be the centerpiece up front, I feel. Latuli Gassino is 305 pounds. He lost, I believe, 10 or 15 pounds last offseason to kind of be able to play across that whole defensive line, play the nose tackle, play the defensive end 3 technique style. And then Sam Tamani, of course, is 335 pounds. He's really ideal nose tackle size. And Latuli Gassino came in last year, expected to really make a huge impact. And unfortunately for him, he was injured and he missed the first couple of games and really kind of slowly eased himself back in. And by the time he was 100%, the season was already over as it was just 4 games. That did give Tamani more snaps to really help him progress, so that helped him out. In the end, though, the defensive line was not as good as possible in the run game. And that's one thing they'll need to work on for sure, especially just getting off blocks, shutting the blocker, and making that tackle at the line of scrimmage instead of 5 yards down the field, which really that's what they were doing. Last year, the Huskies ranked 7th in opposing yards per carry at 4.54. So if a team wanted to just hand the ball off, on average, they'd be getting a first down and wouldn't be really reaching 4th down. And that happened in some of these games towards the end. Stanford really did that, and that hurt the Huskies not being able to stop the run game. Utah also had a great running game against the Huskies. So overall, this was Lake's worst number in yards per carry for his defense since he arrived in 2014. That's going to be a major point that will be really hammered on, hopefully, in the offseason, and they'll improve upon that. The defensive line really had no statistics last year. They finished the short 4-game season. This is the entire defensive line. They had 2 tackles for a loss, 0 sacks, and 0 forced fumbles. So they were not getting in the backfield like you'd hope. A guy to definitely keep your eye on for next season, making a huge step forward and showing something in the 2021 season is, I'm probably going to butcher his name, Fatui Tuiteli. He's a redshirt sophomore. So he played last year, but really not that much. He got 1 start, I believe. He had only a couple tackles on the year. But one thing's for sure with him is he has loads of potential. Coming out of high school in the class of 2019, he was the 83rd ranked player in the nation, 9th D tackle, and quite frankly, every college wanted him. First off, he had the most scholarship offers from any of his UW teammates. He had around 39 scholarship offers. And it's not like he was just small schools and all Pac-12 kind of schools. His top 5 choices were Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Texas, and UW. A school like LSU offered him and didn't make his top 5. So with all those offers, all these coaches clearly saw something with him. And hopefully UW's able to unlock that now in his 3rd year on campus. Overall, I like who the Huskies have at these positions. And it's really just going to come down to the coaches being able to coach them up, put them in situations where they can succeed and really make that big difference that you want to see.